presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Ohio.
As fans make their way into GABP one final time, it has the makings of a fantastic weekend of baseball for the Reds. Yesterday, Ramon Santiago sent the Reds home as winners with a walk-off grand slam in the 10th inning. Today, Johnny Cueto takes to the hill for the chance to be the first Reds 20-game winner in 26 years. Can he do it? We'll find out next, right here on Fox Sports Ohio. On this final day of the 2014 season, the 130th National League campaign for the Cincinnati Reds will come to a close. Final game of this three-game get-together against the Pittsburgh Pirates right here at GABP and on Fox Sports Ohio. And hi, a pleasant Sunday afternoon, everyone. This final day of the 2014 baseball's campaign. And welcome to Reds Baseball. Jim Kelch along with Chris Welsh. Well, we know that the Reds are not going to play after today until spring training begins, and then in the regular season, early April of 2015. But that doesn't mean today doesn't have importance for the Reds, Chris, and in particular to Johnny Cueto.
Well, you're right, Jim. You know, at the beginning of the year, there was so much optimism around here that the Reds would be in the playoffs, that Billy Hamilton may be a Rookie of the Year guy, and that Johnny Cueto would win 20 games. Well, he's right on the verge today. Last Red to win 20 games, you see Danny Jackson, the left-hander, back in 1988. Last right-hander to do it was Sudden Sammy Ellis in 1965, who was also a pitching coach in the minor leagues for the Reds after that. But Johnny Cueto has really earned it with this way this year. When you look at the number of wins that he's had, he's third in the league. Only Kershaw and Wainwright have more. His earned run average is second. His opponent batting average, it's like he pitches against a lineup of pitchers out there. It's just amazing the kind of year that he has had this year. And the only thing that you really consider is that if the Reds are able to give him any kind of run support at all, I mean, after all, he is 10th worst in the league. They only get about 3.5 runs a game for Johnny Cueto. He has lost several ball games where he had potential to win a game because they simply couldn't even get one run across. So maybe today they'll get a little big crooked number for him, and he can ease right on in there to number 20.
Now, on Friday, we talked about the scenarios for the Pirates, where they may be going. Things really haven't cleared up that much despite 2 games that have been played. They have multiple different places where they could go after today.
Well, they had a decision to make at the beginning of the game today. Clint Hurdle, their manager, is whether they really wanted to get out there and try to win this game. How much does it mean? And their ace in the hole is Gerrit Cole, the pitcher that they're throwing against Cueto this afternoon. If they didn't want to win this game, he would not be on the mound. So obviously this is a very important game for the Pittsburgh Pirates. They'll be grinding it out against the ultimate grinder in Johnny Cueto.
All right, well, we'll see how it unfolds in the next 2.5 to 3 hours. Final game of the year, the Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates. We'll take a break. When we come back, the countdown continues. Some of the best moments in Reds history 2014.
Brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. By Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time.
Hey guys, beautiful weather for the Reds game against the Pirates. The last game of the season. Temperatures are going to be well into the 70s for the beginning of the game. And we'll see similar temperatures to what we did yesterday. Highs near 82. Let's go Redlegs.
And I'm Jim Day on the field. Johnny Cueto goes for win number 20 today. That would certainly be a season highlight. But starting Friday, we've been counting down the 9 best moments of 2014. And let's give you a recap of where we are. Number 9, Jay Bruce, little home run robbery August 10th. Robbed Giancarlo Stanton, and then a game saver on the 11th. Matt Adams as he robs. Frazier does it all, number 8. Mesoraco, 3 grand slams, tying a Reds record at number 7. The number 6 moment was Billy Hamilton setting a rookie record for stolen bases, and Brandon Phillips flashing the leather at number 5. Number 4 on the list, high fives for Devin Mesoraco. Devin Mesoraco hits 5 home runs in 5 games, tied a team record, joining Ted Kloszewski, George Crowe, Johnny Bench, Ken Griffey Jr., and Adam Dunn in that distinct category. Devin Mesoraco, a coming out party this year, and is certainly perhaps the best power hitting catcher in all of baseball now. We've got the top 3 moments coming up during the game. Can the Reds play spoiler? Can Cueto get number 20? A lot on the line here today as the Reds and Buccos close out the 2014 regular season. Jim and Chris are next.
And 2 years ago, Johnny Cueto won 19 games. This year, he's won 19 again, going for that 20th victory. He was unable to accomplish it, Chris, in his last start in 2012, but he tries to rectify that today.
Well, you know, it's really amazing what Johnny Cueto has done in his career as a major leaguer with the Reds. I mean, when you come up as a young kid, you're being tutored by older players, being shown what it's like to be a big leaguer. Now Johnny Cueto kind of wears that hat, where he has helped a lot of the young pitchers around this year, and they're going to look forward to him right here leading them to show him how he can win 20 games. He doesn't look like he's going to be denied. The eye that he has had in his last couple of starts out there is that he is on a mission.
Well, a big day of Major League Baseball now gets underway here in Cincinnati. This game later out in Arizona. Of course, there's some big games going on in the American League today. There's the possibility, depending on who wins and who loses, that there could be 3 games tomorrow to decide who is going on in the postseason. We'll wait how it all unfolds about 3.5 hours or so from now, at least here in the Cincinnati portion of things, as Josh Harrison grounds one down the third base line, and a nice play made down there by Christopher Negron for the first out of the game. Here's the Pirates lineup, brought to you by Meyer, Harrison, Snyder, then McCutchen, Walker, Marte, and Ike Davis. Jordy Mercer. Chris Stewart makes a second straight start behind the plate, and Gerrit Cole pitches and bats ninth. You mentioned earlier there was some question mark as to whether Cole was going to start or not today.
Well, they've had some different options, the Pirates do, but they figured that this is a very important game for them to win, and especially after losing here yesterday, only their 4th loss in the last 17 games for the Pirates. So they want to get back winning today, and then they'll sit around and find out what's going on with the St. Louis Cardinals as they play their game later on today in Arizona.
That one will feature, depending on how things go, Adam Wainwright against Josh Colmenter. But we thoroughly expect that if the Pirates lose this game today, that the Cardinals would then scratch Wainwright, get him ready for their first round playoff series. Tapper toward the mound and fielded by Johnny Cueto. He'll throw on to first for out number 2. Reds defensively, brought to you by your Ford dealers, look like this. In the outfield, Bourgeois, Heisey, and Bruce. On the infield, Negron and Cozart left side, Phillips, Frazier right side. Cueto throws to Devin Mesoraco. Normally his catcher throughout the year primarily has been Brian Pena, although Mesoraco has been behind the plate in 2 of the last 3 starts going into today with Cueto on the mound, and Johnny has won both of those games. Let me clarify also about that Cardinal situation. If the Pirates were to lose today, thus the Cardinals wrap up the National League Central Division title, Wainwright may not actually get scratched, but probably wouldn't go as deep into the game as he normally would.
Well, their next playoff game, or their next game would be on Friday, so he would pitch on regular rest, and probably would pitch a few innings today as a little bit of a tune-up. They don't want to sit a guy out for 9 days between starts, or even 8 days between starts, when that game is so important. McCutchen trying to go yard there with the first swing. You know, here's what the Pirates are up against with Johnny Cueto. I mean, he has completely owned them in his career. He's owned them this year with a 4-0 record. But the one thing that the Pirates figure that they've got going right now is late season momentum. They have really turned it on when they've had to. They're getting big hits out of their big guys like Andrew McCutchen. And this should be a pretty hard-fought ball game. From the Reds' consideration, you look at this. Johnny Cueto wants to hand the ball at the end of the game to no one but Aroldis Chapman. So there'll be no pitch count limit for Johnny Cueto, reasonable anyway, until he gets late into a ball game and you turn it right over to the Reds closer.
Hard to believe, but he has made already 5 starts against Pittsburgh this year. This is number 6 against them, and each one of those has been a quality start. He talked about how he's dominated the Pirates in his career, 17-4 with a 2.26. There's not another team in the big leagues that he has won even in double digits against, and here he is pushing 20 against the Pirates, making his 27th career start against them. 2-out singles now by McCutchen and Neil Walker, and the Pirates have 2 on with 2 out in the first. Pittsburgh has life today because of the actions late last night out in Arizona. Mark Trumbo, a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 7th inning, snaps a 2-2 tie against the Cardinals, and the D-backs go on to win that game 5-2. Keeping the Cardinals' magic number at 1, keeping this Pirates team alive in terms of winning their first division title since 1992. And of course, that was an NL East division title. They've never won an NL Central title. Starling Marte yesterday in the game, 1 hit, a double in the second, keeping his hitting streak alive at 12. First pitch swinging here, and a fly ball to Bruce, and Cueto hangs a 0 in the top of number 1. Does give up a couple of hits, but no runs in the first. Final day of the 2014 season. Let's take a look at the storyline for today's game, brought to you by Elk & Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio. Yesterday, the Reds defeated the Pirates with that walk-off grand slam by Ramon Santiago. The bullpen got the victory in that game. Dylan Axelrod, the first win since July the 11th for the Reds bullpen. They've been 0-17 in the second half. Look at that, 66 games without a win out of the bullpen, third longest since 1960 in the big leagues. And then that win, allowing 6 earned runs or more, 45-game losing streak, longest in team history when allowing 6 runs or more. They get the victory yesterday with a 10-6 final. An exciting Saturday afternoon here at GABP, and an opportunity to win this series against the Pittsburgh Pirates and go out with a couple of wins in a row heading into the offseason. So it's Gerrit Cole on the mound. 11 wins, 5 losses on the year with a 3.78 ERA. He comes into this one having won his last 4 starts. He hasn't lost a game since he was defeated by the Cardinals in St. Louis 5-4 on the 1st of September. We get a hot-hitting Christopher Negron to lead it off, then Phillips, then Frazier. Negron at .257 with 5 home runs, 5 hits and 8 at-bats in this series. That coming on the heels of only 3 hits in his last 21 ABs coming into the Friday night game. This guy has put himself in a very nice position for 2015, hasn't he?
Well, he really has. I think he surprised a lot of people. They saw him in spring training and they said, well, we're not going to do too much evaluating in March. You've got to give, a little bit of a credibility factor. What do you do during the regular season in the big leagues? He was injured a year before that, came back from knee injury, and he has really shown he's got a little pop in his bat. He runs well. He can play a lot of different positions, including outfield positions. I think that he's made himself a valuable part of the ball club as a utility player looking forward.
Yeah, his first stint up here, which was 2 years ago, as you said, just before his knee injury, the only time he actually played defense, he played center field. So this guy can play 6 legitimate positions on the field.
Yeah, he's 27 years old, so it's not like he's just coming up out of the minor leagues for the first time. He's hung around a little bit, but you really never know when somebody finally gets it. It all comes together, and certainly he's playing with a lot more confidence now than ever before.
Speaking of, he gets the base hit. He kind of tomahawked that ball in the hole and out into left. So Negron will end the year at least with a 3-game hitting streak, a single into left. Take a look at the rest of Brian Price's lineup for today, brought to you by Meyer, Negron, then Phillips, then Todd Frazier. Done very well against Pirate pitching this year to the tune of 7 home runs. Mesoraco, Bruce, Heisey, the 3 in the middle. Then Bourgeois gets the start in left. Cozart and Cueto against his right-hander Gerrit Cole. Here's Brandon Phillips.
Pair of hits yesterday, a couple of singles, means he's at 266 with 8 home runs, 51 runs batted in. Been in the lineup virtually every day since coming back from the disabled list. With Negron moving, he bunts it foul.
That's too bad right there, because Negron had one heck of a jump. It looked like a bunt and run right there rather than just a sacrifice situation, because on the pitch Negron had a big lead. He really got a good jump that time, and had Bourgeois not even put that ball in play at all with a foul ball, you'd had an easy stolen base. Or make it Brandon Phillips.
Phillips has 2 hits in each of the first 2 games of this series. September has been the kind of bounce back month for him that you'd like to think we're going to see in the future. He's right near 280 in the month of September after a 4-hit series so far against the Pirates. Now he's down 2 strikes.
That's one thing that a lot of hitters really don't like to do. I remember Dusty Baker addressing that many times as a manager for the Reds, and he said, you know, I don't mind a guy trying to lay a bunt down at any time. However, when you lay it down with 1 strike on you and you foul it off, now you find yourself in a 0-2 count. Put yourself on a defensive all of a sudden when your team seemed to have something going offensively with the first batter reaching.
Leadoff base hit to left by Negron. He's held over there at first by Ike Davis. Negron 5 for 5 in stolen bases this year here at the big league level. Cole, meanwhile, he's faced the Reds 1 time this year. That was way back in April. It was a loss here in Cincinnati, 7-5. He allowed 5 runs in 6 innings. He spent the better part of this year, 2 months worth, July and August, on the disabled list with right lat soreness. A lat injury comes to mind. You're like, lat, who had that? That was Johnny Cueto's injury, not once, not twice, but 3 times a year ago.
You know, he never really used to hear about that very much. It might be just a new, more specific term to a pitcher's injury. Everybody wants to know exactly what's wrong with a pitcher nowadays rather than just say shoulder soreness. But Cole has come back. He missed 6 weeks, as you said, but he's come back throwing the ball very well.
That's going to get over the head of the shortstop Mercer and into left center with Negron on the move. He slowed down initially, then read the ball and hustles over to third, and a good start for the Reds here in the first inning.
Good job of hitting by Brandon Phillips to just try to stay alive, keep the ball in play, and he gets the benefit here of a shortstop having to play in just a little bit. That ball's going to fall into shallow left center field, and Negron heads up into third base. You know, Cole is going to come after you with pretty much hard stuff. I mean, everything he throws is hard. His fastball average is almost 97. He throws a lot of sinkers in there, too. His curveball he throws at the speed most other pitchers throw their slider, around 84, 85 miles an hour. So everything he throws is hard, and he likes to come right inside on right-handers. That time did not get it in far enough on Phillips.
Now it's Todd Frazier. .274 with 29 homers, 79 runs batted in. His 2-run homer in the 7th inning yesterday. To third, only play to first, and out there gives Frazier a run batted in, and for Todd, he hits the 80 mark for the first time in his career. The Reds have taken a 1-0 lead. Pretty good play there by Harrison to go and get that thing.
A great play by Harrison. Looks like the Reds had the contact play on again, because as soon as that ball is hit, there goes Negron towards home. They're going to force the Pirates to make a play. But the Reds get a break by a high hopper. Good play by Harrison as he continues to really impress defensively and at the plate.
About to say about Frazier, his 2-run homer in the 7th inning yesterday gave the Reds the lead at 6-4. Actually, it tied the game 6-6, but it came on a 3-0 pitch and marked the first runs this year given up by John Holtzcomb. Pretty good story around baseball this year in terms of being an independent leaguer, being scouted by the Pirates, ultimately brought to the big leagues. Opportunity now for Mesoraco. Frazier's RBI has tied Mesoraco now for the team lead with 80 runs batted in. .276 with 25 home runs to go along with those 80 RBIs. And remarkably enough, he's done it in about 40 less games than Frazier has. You look at the numbers this year of those two. Frazier coming into today 156 games. Mesoraco, due to 2 stints on the disabled list and playing the position that he does, catcher, 113. Pirates defensively behind Gerrit Cole, brought to you by your Ford dealers. They line up with Marte, McCutcheon, and Snyder, who has started all 3 games out in right field. Harrison, Mercer, Walker, Davis third to first, a battery of Cole and Chris Stewart. Russell Martin out of the lineup for the 2nd day in a row behind the plate with Stewart there, the former Yankee. That left hamstring still giving Martin some problems, and so they give him, with a playoff spot of some sort, they don't know exactly what, wrapped up. They know they'll be involved in postseason play. They give him some extra time to get that hamstring hopefully feeling better. Stewart behind the plate yesterday and back there again today. Base hit by Negron, base hit by Phillips, ground out produces a run by Frazier. Mesoraco strikes out, and now Bruce.
Must have really been kind of weird last night for Gerrit Cole going back to the hotel room after the Pirates lost, not knowing whether he's going to pitch today or not. I mean, normally you start preparing mentally far beyond, just the day of the game, and maybe the uncertainty maybe have caught him off stride a little bit.
Yeah, you do wonder, don't you, when he actually found out. Did they call him late last night after the Cardinal game, or what the deal was?
Well, they tried to pin Clint Hurdle down as to what his intentions were as his starter for today. He would not reveal that. Now, he may have revealed that internally to Cole. We don't know that.
Right.
But if he was in limbo, it's kind of a strange place to be before game 162 and an important one.
Bruce is rung up there. Good comeback by Gerrit Cole to get Frazier, Mesoraco, and Bruce after giving up hits to the first 2 in the inning. MLB.com's easy and free game that's Beat the Streak. Pick players to get hits in 57 straight games, and you could become a millionaire. Play MLB.com Beat the Streak today. 1-0 Reds as we go to the 2nd inning. An RBI ground out by Frazier produces the contest's first run. Cueto allowed 2 hits for the Pirates in the first. Now gets Ike Davis, the left-handed hitting first baseman, to lead things off here. 34th start of the year for Cueto. That's a new career high for him. Last Reds pitcher to start at least 34 times was Bronson Arroyo back in 2008. Last pitcher to make more than 35 starts in a year, Aaron Harang, did it 8 years ago, 2006. Ball on the strike to Davis at 234 with 11 home runs. He's driven in 51. Did not start here in the game on Friday. Was a little bit under the weather. Did see him out there yesterday starting at first base, went 0 for 3 late in the game, replaced by Gabby Sanchez. Back in there today. But the Reds have given up 2 grand slams this year, both to this guy Davis, both in April. One when he's wearing a Mets uniform, the other in his first week wearing a Pirates uniform. Drives this ball to right. Bruce near the wall. He's going to have room right to the left of the 370 mark. He had to stay with that one all the way, and he did. Davis is retired.
In his ballpark, you never know, especially in the daytime when it's warm, and it is about 80 degrees here this afternoon. That ball looked like it was going to be caught well before the warning track when it came off the bat, but it just kept going and going. Bruce did the right thing, getting right near the wall and figuring out where it was. Cueto's given up 21 bombs this year, and you wonder how many of those have been fence scrapers right here at this ballpark that probably would not be home runs elsewhere.
Well, we have talked about, in terms of his home runs, that of those 21, 19 have been solo shots. So if you're going to give them up, that's the way to do it.
That's a remarkable stat, really, when you consider the number of home runs you give up, and then that's the old Robin Roberts theory, where he didn't mind giving up home runs, I think, until his record was broken by maybe Bert Blyleven, I'm not sure, but he had given up for such a long time the most home runs ever given up by one pitcher. But most of those were solo shots where he would just go out and challenge hitters. He's cruising right along on a solo shot. When you've got a 4-run lead, doesn't mean anything. In the case of Johnny Cueto, however, this year, those solo shots sometimes were the difference between him getting a win and not getting a win, because the Reds did not give him very much support at all. In fact, he was 10th worst in the league with run support.
Well, he has his 19 wins, and 3 other times he left with a lead. The bullpen let those leads slip away, so he was the victim of blown saves on 3 different occasions.
And for Cueto, when he leaves a ball game, we're not talking about 5 and fly.
Right. He got it. Here's what you're talking about right here, Chris.
Well, for pitchers that have won 19 games, what kind of run support do you need to get to that level? Well, Johnny Cueto has set a new mark right here, because he's done it against all odds. Maddox, Fernando Valenzuela, and Oral Hershiser, they're all right around 4 runs per game. Johnny Cueto's closer to 3.5 runs a game. That half run can make a huge difference in wins and losses.
Cueto's first strikeout is 236th of the year. He has the opportunity here today. This ball's hit into center field. On the run is Heisey. He's not going to get it, and it goes by him and to the wall. This is going to be 2 bases for Stewart, and let's see if he will try. He will not for 3 as he hustles back to the bag with a 2-out, 2-base hit. Cueto has the opportunity to take over the strikeout lead in the league if he can get 8. Steven Strasburg at 242.
Well, Chris Heisey was playing very shallow against Stewart, because Stewart doesn't show a lot of power. He was also shaded around towards right, so he had a long way to go, plus maybe a little tough of an angle. He did not get to the ball, and the ball ended up getting by him. Now, he had thoughts about going to third, but he had the brakes put on him by Nick Leyva out there, because there's no way you want to make the third out of third and then have the pitcher lead the inning off next inning.
Cole hacking at the first one, sends it into the stands. Cole this year 8 hits, 44 at bats. Yeah, so Cueto comes in at 235. Directly ahead of him and second in strikeouts in the league is Clayton Kershaw at 239. Strasburg at 242. So 8 strikeouts would give him 243 and become the first Reds pitcher since Aaron Harang in 2006 to lead the league in strikeouts. Aaron had 216 that year. It would be the most strikeouts by a Reds pitcher since Mario Soto struck out 242 in 1983, and the year before that Soto struck out 274. So it's been a big year for him in the K category, a big year for him in innings pitched, big year for him in starts, and of course he's trying to become the first 20-game winner since Danny Jackson in '88, and the first right-hander to win 20 since 1965, when the Reds had two of them, Sammy Ellis with 22 and Jim Maloney, who had 20, the second of his two different years in which he won 20 games as a Red. There's strike three called, so the strikeout total at 2 as he gets a couple of them here in the top of the second.
In the season, and here is our first one of the day. Michael, Mr. Reds and Rosy Red action. Michael, we thank you very much for your photo, our AT&T Part 1 fan photo of the day. I'm Jim Day, final game of the 2014 regular season, and we've been counting down the 9 best moments of the season, and let's take you to number 3. And this guy has been electrifying Reds fans all season long, and that would be Billy Hamilton. He certainly surpassed everyone's expectations defensively. He has not been a center fielder yet, but a couple of years. But, man, he has played gold glove defense, being the center of attention in center field. And if he doesn't win the gold glove this year, if he stays healthy, everyone, and I mean everyone, I think now can see a gold glove in his future. Billy closing out the season on the bench as he's coming back from a mild concussion, and we wish him well, boys.
Yeah, we really do. What a terrific play he made. The last play, as it turned out, he made this year on that ball out in left center field. A terrific catch up against the wall. Banged his head into the wall. He said his shoulders are sore, his knee is sore, but what a great play to end your season on. Here's a look at it on Wednesday afternoon against Milwaukee.
Well, it just kind of shows you in a nutshell the kind of effort that Billy Hamilton gave the Reds all year long defensively this year. This is one reason why I think that Hamilton really should win the Rookie of the Year award, despite the fact a lot of people are thinking that Jacob deGrom and New York will get that award based on how he's finishing up the month of September. But you cannot overlook at all the kind of defense that Hamilton gave the Reds.
That play he made on Wednesday robbed Ryan Braun of a home run. That thing was over the fence. He brought it back. They had hoped to get him in another game in the end of this season, but it's not going to work out for him. And obviously, it did not work out for Joey Votto to come back and play in a game as well. That was an ongoing drama really for the last 2 or 3 weeks as to whether he would or would not return in 2014. Jim, I understand you have still more to pass along on Billy Hamilton.
Well, we've talked all season long about Billy's bunting and how he can use that as a huge weapon. And he is true to his word. We told you the story of Jonathan Broxton, his now former teammate, wanting to set him up with a bunting specialist in the offseason, and Billy is going to keep him to that. And that player, I learned today, is Juan Pierre. So some point in the offseason he's going to go to Mississippi and take a couple weeks off, and then perhaps go to Florida and basically go through a bunting clinic with Juan Pierre. Pretty good guy to learn off of. So it is his biggest intention of the offseason, he tells me, to come back a better bunter.
Well, you know, he worked on bunting this past season, but I think you could tell once he got to the big leagues that bunting style really needed to be worked on, and Juan Pierre seems to be a good one to do it.
Well, I mean, he would be the best route I could think of, and I'm not so sure it's only the mechanics of the bunt for Billy Hamilton, because he's got good hand-eye coordination. He can figure out how to bunt pretty easily, but it's a mental approach to bunting, you know, where you don't get down and then put it in your back pocket for 2 games just because you made a couple of bad bunts and didn't get a base hit. So I think just having a good long conversation or a series of conversations with a guy like Juan Pierre could really help him a lot.
Here are the 2 main competitors for the National League Rookie of the Year. See, Billy's numbers at average down at 250 is the only thing really that has people, in my estimation, looking possibly at Jacob deGrom as the possible winner. His September did not go well. Really, his second half average-wise did not go well. But if you look at the rookie numbers, he is tops in most of those offensive categories amongst National League rookies. And as Chris said, his defense has been Gold Glove-ish. And then there's the base stealing. I'm with you. I think I would still go with Billy Hamilton. Of course, he's our guy of playing in front of us every day, and we've had the chance to watch him day in, day out. Really, this team would not have been where it was at the All-Star break without the tremendous play that he put in the month of June, when he had easily his best month of the season. Cozart sat out yesterday, and boy, his replacement, what a thing he did in the bottom of the 10th inning, his first career grand slam. Came as a right-handed hitter. Cozart back in there today. He strikes out. That's 4 of them now by Cole. And we are through 2 here at GABP. Inning number 3. We're talking about Cueto and 20 wins. That's really the main theme of today's broadcast. Here's the longest droughts since the last 20-game winner. The Reds have been 26 years since Danny Jackson did it. 36 years since the Padres' Gaylord Perry did it. That's the longest on the list. If Cueto can get there today, he'd be only the 3rd 20-game winner this year. You were talking earlier about the list.
Adam Wainwright has 20.
Kershaw 21.
Kershaw 21. Of course, Wainwright scheduled to pitch today, and that may, as you said, matter on what happens here with the Pirates in this ball game. Something magical about that 20-win plateau.
Brian Price asked about that today in his pregame media meeting, his last one of the year, and he said, you know, with the way the schedule is and the way there's a 5-man rotation now, there's only 33, 34 starts, it's tougher than ever to win 20 games.
I think the other part of it being tougher than ever is pitch counts, because now pitchers, whether they like it or not, when they get to about 105 to 115 pitches, the manager is starting to look down the bullpen. And that may only be a situation where you have a guy in the 6th inning sometimes, and he could be pitching a whale of a game, just one of those not very efficient games. So you get him out, you turn it over to middle relief, they tie the ball game up, and that win that you had going was going by the wayside because they blew a save.
Harrison now 0 for 2 as he grounded out to start the game. He strikes out here for out number 1.
Johnny, but looks like going with a changeup, and he's one of the pitchers this year that I've seen to make a transition where he throws his changeup down and into right-handers. You don't see many right-handed pitchers do that, but it's been a very effective pitch for him because he establishes a 2-seam fastball in the 90s, and then he throws that changeup, and they seem to swing right over the top of it.
Here's Travis Snyder, tapped one back to the mound his first time.
Cueto's repertoire, as far as just the pitching part of it, is so different now than when he first broke into the major leagues. I mean, like most young, hard-throwing pitchers, he had 2 pitches that he could throw for strikes. That was his fastball and a changeup. He added a slider, and then for the next few years, those were all of his pitches. But this year and last year together, he began to refine that, and it may have been a little bit of a rub-off from having watched, you know, Bronson Arroyo pitch for so many starts here in Cincinnati, where Bronson would almost invent pitches along the way. And Cueto doesn't exactly change his arm angle very much like Arroyo, but he changes his pressure on his fingers, which way he wants to make the ball cut, how much he's going to take off of a certain pitch, how much he's going to add. He's added a cutter this year that has been a great pitch for him. As I mentioned, that changeup of his, he is able to spot up down and into right-handers. That's a pitch that was almost exclusively lefties only when he first came up. So he is a complete pitcher now in more than just one sense of the word. His repertoire is as involved and complicated as anybody in this league. And of course, when he wants, he can always dial him back, look for that extra gear, and get it up there 94, 95.
Well, I'm intrigued by the comment you made early on this afternoon where you said his average against 193 coming in. It's like he's pitching against a lineup of pitchers. I thought that was a good comment. Line drive and a nice stab of that ball by Zach Cozart.
Well, hit off the end of the bat. It was a changeup. Travis Snyder way out in front of it. Cozart had to make a decision. Do I lay back on this and field it on one hop, or do I come forward and try to get it on the fly? It goes down as a line drive, but not well struck. I mean, when you pitch 235 innings and you come in giving up 163 hits, I mean, normally when a pitcher gives up 1 hit per inning, you're doing pretty good. I mean, Cueto's just, as far as the number of hits he gives up, it's just ridiculous how hard it is to get a base hit off of him.
One of the new age stats, the whip, walks and hits against innings pitched. He has an under 1 with all those innings. Incredible.
And I think a lot of that, or some of it, also has to be the fact that the Reds play a very good defense. In fact, they're, in my opinion, the best defensive infield in the league. They make terrific plays behind them, anchored by Brandon Phillips at second base. Cozart's had a tremendous year at shortstop defensively. And Johnny still gets a lot of ground balls.
Well, he comes into the game leading the league with opponents hitting only 193 against him. Lefties at 191, righties at 196. He gets another strikeout here. He gets his 4th of the game and hangs a 0 in the top of the 3rd.
20, Fox Sports Ohio. I'm Jim Day, and literally this is the favorite part of my job. When Pete Rose, the hit king, shows up at the stadium and he graces me with a few questions. Pete, how we doing?
We're doing good, Jim. We're here hoping Johnny can win number 20. Of course, he's one of the top 2 or 3 pitchers in all of baseball, right there with Kershaw and Wainwright, and it'd be a big feather for the Cincinnati organization. He'd get 20 wins.
No question. Much harder to get 20 wins nowadays with a 5-man rotation. Everyone looks at wins not as important when they break out all these new statistics. Where do you feel? What do you feel about 20 wins now?
Well, it's hard to do, like you said, but Johnny gets deep into games, and you know, he's got a pretty good offense when they were clicking early in the season. But you know, he's just a good pitcher. I mean, his earned run average is less than 3, down just a little over 2. And when you can do that, you're going to win a lot of games. You know, there's only 3 20-game winners in the league. And we all know who they are. Wainwright is a great pitcher. Kershaw might be MVP. He's a great pitcher. And Johnny Cueto, if the Reds were where we want him to be, he'd be in the running for the Cy Young.
How tough has it been for you to watch this season? I know it's been tough on Reds fans. I know you.
Just the second half was tough, but it seems like the second half, the catcher and the third baseman and Hamilton, they all went into a slump at the same time, and there's really no explanation why you do that. I was in a good spot at the All-Star game. We're a game and a half out. I'm saying we got good pitching. We're gonna contend. We got we got guys having good years. Even though Joey was out and Bruce was out, you still had guys filling in. And pitching's always going to keep you around. And I thought it was going to keep us around, but you can't win 1 and then 2-1 every night.
What would you do going forward to win in 2015?
I just told Mr. Castellini the same thing I tell you.
I saw you chewing his ear.
Well, the first thing we got to do is get healthy. I mean, you got 3 guys making over $15 million a year that were out most of the season. Bruce was out, Phillips was out, Votto's still out, Homer's out. I mean, you got all those multi-million-dollar players that are in the dugout or in the clubhouse. It doesn't help you. But get healthy and just try to get these guys to understand that it's important to win. It's contagious. It's important to win. And I think Frazier's going to be a team leader someday. He has that kind of ability. He's having a good year this year. Come back next year, there's another base hit. Let's see those base hits the opposite field, especially with the big guys coming up.
What do you think of Christopher Negron? He's kind of in that hustle category, getting everything out of what he's got.
Wherever he plays hard. We got to get this Phillips woke up. You know, he's just, I don't know what it is with him. He's deteriorating the last 3 years. He's a good athlete. He's got great potential. He's still young. We got to get him to start producing more.
Got to ask you, as Bud Selig leaves his office, he is leaving. Yeah, I don't know if you heard.
Already? I think Bud's a perfect example of what we're looking forward to today in baseball. With all the West Coast games meaning so much for that extra wild card, and he's done a good job. Bud's a good commissioner. I hate to see him go. I don't know the new guy. I hope he continues to make baseball grow like you and I need it to grow, because we're fans. And I don't know the new commissioner. I just hope he does a good job. I know he's qualified. And I'm going to take my hat off to Bud Selig, even though, I disagree with him on my decision, but I have nothing but good things to say about Bud.
A lot of people are looking towards the new commissioner as perhaps one of the things on his agenda is your situation and reinstating you into baseball. What do you think the chances of that are happening?
I couldn't tell you. Even if I was a betting man, I couldn't tell you. Don't laugh at that. That's not funny. No, I don't know. If someone ever gives me a second chance, Jim, I'll be the happiest guy in the world. But I'm the one that messed up, so I'm not going to sit here and whine or complain. But, you would like to. This is America. You would like to get that second chance. And if the new commissioner feels, I haven't given up on Bud, to be honest with you. Because I think Bud's got a lot of compassion. He understands the game. He's 80 years old. He'll probably have some forgiveness, and we'll see what happens.
If the guys upstairs will allow me, one more question. The All-Star game here next year, and everyone wants you to be a part of the festivities. Do you think you're going to be here in some capacity?
I hope so. I mean, I already, the commissioner gave me permission. And
he did give you permission?
Well, he said I could be part of it. And from talking to Mr. Castellini a minute ago, I would think I'm going to be somewhat involved. But, hey, the All-Star game would be great. I can't wait to see the home run derby here next year.
It might go to like 2 in the morning.
I mean, they might hit him up there off the top of the scoreboard. So, but it'd be great for the city, and it'd be greater for the city if the Reds are doing well next year.
No question about it. Pete, thanks for your time as always.
Did you bring this hot weather?
I did, and it's a great day to be in a coat and tie.
We're almost in a, oh my God.
The hit king, Pete Rose, boys. Man, I tell you what, that's the best part of my job right here. Nothing better.
Good work, Jim Day. Thank you very much, Chris. It's always good, isn't it, to hear the thoughts on baseball and whatever else he wants to talk about of the hit king.
I could listen to that guy all day. Jim Day, if you want to just go down there and visit with him the rest of the ball game, that's good with me and probably everybody out in our listening audience, too.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. We can just have a third man in the booth. When something happens, I'll just hand the mic to Pete.
Well, I think we can reiterate what Jim was saying, and certainly what Pete was saying, that we would love and hope that he is involved in the All-Star game festivities here next year, and would love to see him back involved in the game of baseball in some capacity.
Jim, I'd love to hear Pete Rose's opinion on why this seems to be the year of the pitcher so much, and why offense is so down all around baseball.
Pete, they'd like to know upstairs, this is the year of the pitcher. It's actually been the last couple of years the year of the pitcher. Why do you think that is in baseball right now?
Well, I think Chris will verify this, and I just told Mr. Castellini this. The problem with hitters today, Jim, is they have the same swing 2-0 they do 0-2. They make no adjustments at home plate. And sports is all about adjusting to your competition. How many times have we seen guys on third base less than 2 outs and a guy strike out or pop up? There's no fundamentals in the game of baseball when it comes to hitting. Plus, you have 4 or 5 pitchers in every game, so you always have a strong pitcher. But you still should be able to hit the pitchers because they all throw about the same. Every pitcher pitching today throws from 92 to 94, 95. So you get used to that speed. Then all of a sudden you throw Chapman in there, he's throwing 100. So you just adjust to that. But players don't make no adjustments today. None.
We've talked about this before. It drives me insane, and I know it does you, with 2 strikes that players don't choke up. You gave me a whole list of guys that choked up.
No, I said the guy with the most hits in the history of baseball and the guy with the most home runs both choked up when we got in the batter's box. I don't necessarily say you should choke up when you get 2 strikes, but what you do is you choke up mentally because you got to put the ball in play. So if that's cutting down your swing, you do it mentally. You don't choke up at the bat to make it lighter. You just choke up mentally, if you understand what I'm saying. Because you got to put the ball in play. And the only way you're not going to get on first is if you strike out, because the catcher rarely drops the 3rd strike.
Guys, it's a shame this knowledge down here is not being put to good use in baseball. I think it's time to let Pete back in the game. What do you say?
I couldn't agree more, Chris.
Well, I've been all for that for a long, long time. Hey, Pete, Boy, he's the best. Really, I could listen to him talk about baseball for days and days.
Tough play here. Harrison will barehand pick and throw and retire Phillips at first base.
Man, that guy, I mean, he has made every play that he is asked to make against the Reds this year. We saw him make on Friday night a terrific slow roller play like this while the ball is still bounding. That's the hardest kind because the ball is still bouncing. You've got to concentrate, watch that ball into your bare hand, and then throw off that right leg and a strike to first base.
We were talking about Johnny Cueto going for number 20. Pete was talking about it as well. He was the manager here, of course, the last 20-game winner, Danny Jackson's 23 and 88. Frazier produced the game's only run with a ground out back in the first inning. Starts this game at 274 with 29 homers. Now has 80 RBIs, vying for the Reds triple crown. Best average, most homers, most RBIs. He and Devin Mesoraco battling back and forth. Last Red to do it was Joey Votto in 2010, but before that, got to go back to Eric Davis in '89. Dave Parker, the Cobra, did it 84, 85. George Foster, 1977. So right now, Frazier has the most home runs. The RBI totals are even. Mesoraco slightly ahead in terms of average. 2-2.
Frazier thought it was low. Our Fox Tracks has it right at the bottom of the knees. A lot of times it's where you catch the pitch and it makes the umpire look like a bad guy, but because where the catcher catches it is low. But it's where it crosses the plate. That ball had pretty good downward plane.
So we're talking about the Reds triple crown. Frazier 0 for 1 today. Mesoraco 0 for 1. So Devin just slightly ahead of Frazier in the average department. Tied in the run batted in department thanks to the ground out by Frazier in the first. All those numbers on both sides are career highs for both players. Average homers and RBIs. Reds won't have obviously a 100 RBI man this year. Last year they had 2 of them with Phillips and Bruce. Mercer will make this play. Frazier retired and the inning is over. Reds are stranded 2, but through 3 lead 1-0. Offense had a record-breaking night last night in the win over the Bearcats. And check out the hit of the game, which came not during the game action, but when former Buckeye linebacker and current coach Anthony Schlegel tackled a fan that ran onto the field. Did you see that?
I heard about it. Did not. I heard it on the radio.
Plus, Hal McCoy writes how Billy Hamilton compares to Willie Mays Hayes from the movie Major League. Get complete coverage of all of today's action involving Ohio sports on FoxSportsOhio.com. Anthony Schlegel put his arm around that guy's neck and twisted him to the ground. I mean, to tell you, that was a hard, big-time tackle. And then they basically drugged this guy off the field. Surprised the dude could walk after that.
Well, he was characterized on the Bearcats radio as a moron. And he was probably a hurting moron after they were dragging him off the field.
No question about that. 4th inning now in this final day of the 2014 regular season. 1-0 Reds over the Pirates. Walker, Marte, and Davis. 4 strikeouts now for Johnny Cueto. Bomb into right field, and that's going to be another solo home run against Johnny Cueto. Neil Walker gets his 23rd. He keeps building on his career high total in terms of home runs. The game is even 1-1 here in the fourth.
There are two guys in this Pirates lineup, and we were talking about it at length on Friday, Jim, that have done very well in this ballpark. And one of them is Andrew McCutchen. He does well everywhere. The other is Neil Walker. If I'm not mistaken, this is home run number 13 in his major league career here at this ballpark.
Number 14, and number 14 in terms of home runs, the most against any opponent in his career, right? No doubter into right field on the fencing and top of the Pirate bullpen down that way. 6 home runs this year now by Walker against the Reds. Only Anthony Rizzo has more. He has 8. 6 home runs by Walker, 6 home runs by McCutchen this year against the Reds.
It's a two-man wrecking crew.
Marte, another Pirate, hitting on sitting on a double-digit hitting streak. He's at 12. Kept that alive yesterday with a early double. Had a terrific second half. Marte, 350 since the All-Star break. 12 in a row, 22 of his last 23. Since August 5th, the second best average in Major League Baseball behind Victor Martinez. That is number 5. Strikeout number 5 for Johnny Cueto, putting him in second place in the National League now in Ks behind Steven Strasburg.
There's that down and in changeup again, and after you see him that fastball from Cueto, I mean, he's got such good arm action. He hides the ball so well. You know, he's got that big twisting motion. All of a sudden the ball is on you, and he jumps at you, and you swing, and the ball's not even halfway to the plate. That has been an excellent strikeout pitch for him this year.
Now you see the stat. He becomes only the second pitcher in Reds history to have 19 wins and 240 strikeouts in a season. The other being Jim Maloney. Pitcher, pardon. Sanchez now will bat for Ike Davis. And he is thrown out at first for out number 2. Told you that Ike Davis had been a little bit ill earlier in this series. He leaves here for the pinch hitter.
You better be fully recovered to come back and face Cueto.
So 2 out. Here's Jordy Mercer. First on the ground ball. After the home run, Pirates go in order. The home run by Walker, his 23rd, has tied this game. Group, let's create great dishes together. By Toyota. For over 30 Toyota offers, visit buyatoyota.com. And go for the save on Wing Tuesdays at B-Dubs with specially priced wings all day. Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports. And remember, the most popular way to follow the September pennant races is with MLB.com's At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, replay reviews, scores, live radio broadcasts, the MLB.tv game of the day, and much more. You can get At Bat for your smartphone or tablet on the App Store, or you can visit MLB.com. 1-4-0 Pirates, 1-3-0 Reds. Pirates have stranded 3, the Reds 2. Reds get a run in the first. Single by Negron, single by Phillips, moving Christopher to third, ground out by Frazier. Pirates tie with a Neil Walker home run in the top of this inning. Reds up now here in the bottom of the fourth against Gerrit Cole. Walked no one. He has struck out 5. Looking for victory number 12 if he can get it. First 2 years in the big leagues, he's won double digits, 10 last year, 11 this year. 0-2 to Devin Mesoraco.
But Cole has a distinction of being a former #1 pick, not once but twice. He was picked out of high school in California, Orange Lutheran High School, as a #1 pick, 28th taken in that first round by the New York Yankees. They were all set to give him more than what the slot allowed. They wanted to give him about $4 million a sign. He ended up going with his commitment to play baseball at UCLA, which by the time he became eligible to be drafted there, he was selected #1 in the draft that year. That was, I think, 2011. He reminds me a lot of Jeff Samardzija. I mean, he's a big guy like Samardzija is. He's a hard thrower. He's much younger. He's only 24 years old. In fact, he turned 24 in September, so he's very young baseball-wise, and everything that he has right now is kind of hard. I think as long as he gets longer in baseball, he's going to realize the advantage of maybe taking off a little bit of his pitches from now and again. But I mean, when you average almost 97 miles an hour on a fastball as a starter, that puts you in rarefied company.
He gets his 6th strikeout when he fans Mesoraco for the 2nd time today. Now he gets Bruce, who took a called 3rd strike back in the first.
Well, the first time up, he said he fed Bruce almost all off-speed stuff. And now in this at-bat, he's throwing him back-to-back fastballs. He's got a lot of run on that 2-seamer. And for a left-handed hitter, that run will go away from you.
Things work out Pittsburgh's way, which if the Pirates and Cole can win here today, and then the Diamondbacks were able to defeat the Cardinals later on, and they force a playoff game tomorrow in St. Louis. Figures for the Pirates to be the left-hander Jeff Locke that would go to the mound. For the Cardinals, I think one of the names being thrown out would be Shelby Miller. So you wouldn't have aces certainly on either side. From a Cardinal standpoint, if they could win that game, they'd be off till Friday. Pirates, if they lose that game, they would have to turn around then and play the next day in the wild card game against San Francisco. Remember, fans, if a Reds home run hits the Toyota sign during this afternoon's finale, William Durfee from Hamilton, Ohio, will win the beautiful new Tundra that's on display, and it's been on display all year here at Great American Ballpark. Good luck today, Mr. Durfee. Hope it works out. Heisey, a strikeout victim his first time. He was aboard in that 10th inning yesterday when Santiago hit the grand slam. He had singled in the inning against John Axford. Axford replaced later in the inning by Bobby La Frambosi. He ultimately gave up the grand slam to Santiago. They're going to call Heisey out. And the ball appeared to touch him when he was out of the batter's box. Go down as a 2 unassisted putout for the catcher Stewart. No argument out of Heisey or the Reds. Bottom of the fourth comes to an end. Here's a look at it. As they bring you news and highlights from the MLB playoff races, plus the latest from college football and a full day of NFL action. Watch Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. I mentioned earlier about the possibility of there being 3 tiebreaker games tomorrow. Scenario on that would be Kansas City, Seattle out of the American League, and these Pirates would need to win. While the Cardinals, the A's, the Tigers would all need to lose today, forcing 3 playoff game tiebreaker games tomorrow. Base hit by Stewart starts the inning. He's going to try for 2, and he will get in there. Bourgeois going for that ball.
I got a little breaking ball up. That's a second double for Stewart. This time he goes down the left field line just over the head of Negron. And a really good slide at the other end right here. It looked like for a second that Stewart was undecided whether he was going to go or not. But when he did go, it was a good slide the back end of the bag. Head first, hand on the bag, and never left it.
2 doubles for him in this game. That's a foul ball. Wait, Frazier, he comes charging in harder than anybody, doesn't he? And
well,
he gets close.
That's a play that if you're going to really be serious about getting that runner at third base, you've got to have your first baseman charging hard, but you've got to have the third baseman stay in a third. And the only reason Negron came in is because he thought he had a chance to catch that foul ball, because Negron is going to stay at third, and then Johnny Cueto's got to come over and cover that third base line.
Close out there at second. Cueto has 3 pickoffs this year.
I think all those are at first base. I'm not so sure he's picked anybody off second, but he's got a very quick move. All starts with quick feet. So now if you're the Pirates, you've got to give Gerrit Cole the option of maybe do a little butcher point play right here. You pull the bat back, slash it. If you think you're going to bunt into a trap, either that or bunt it really hard down the third base line.
Izzy in good position out there in center field.
Well, he's got to be playing shallow anyway, with the pitcher up and the pitcher up there to punt. So why not bring the center fielder way in, so that if you do throw it by on a pickoff move, he's standing right there and you have no advance by the runner. You have nothing to lose there by the Reds. All sorts of meetings now. Gerrit Cole, the batter, meets with the third base coach. Negron comes in to meet with Cueto. Now Frazier comes in to meet with Cueto.
Stewart doubled to start the inning, and now Cole trying his best to move him over to third. There's your butcher boy.
You know, I'd rather see that play done, if I'm the Pirates, with 2 strikes rather than with 1 strike. Okay. You know, try to bunt on the 1 strike pitch, and if you foul it off, now you're 0-2. Now you fake it again, you pull it back, and you can do this as long as you continue to foul the ball off. If you foul off a bunt now, of course, it's strike 3.
Frazier's still in at first. Frazier will field. They're going to go to third, and they're going to get the out. Terrific play by Frazier. And there's Negron holding his ground at third. And they go 3-5 and out at third base on Stewart.
Well, persistent defense finally paid off for the Reds. Time after time, Frazier's charging. This ball's coming right to him. Cole's got to get that ball down the third base line if he expects to move the runner over. So the Reds get the best possible outcome short of a double play. They erase a runner in scoring position, and they make the opposing pitcher, a power pitcher, run the bases.
So now the top of the order, and Josh Harrison. He's grounded out. He's struck out. He's 0 for 2. He's battling, of course, for the National League hitting championship this year, along with his teammate Andrew McCutchen. Harrison comes in second. McCutchen comes in third. Justin Morneau of the Rockies is first at 319. Their game doesn't start until later on this afternoon in L.A. 4:10 Eastern time. Hard into center field will be the second out. Heisey makes the catch.
And there's the Pirates run if they're able to get the runner over to third. You know, you harken back to that interview that Jim Day did with Pete Rose. And Pete said, hey, there's a lack of fundamentals in baseball today. And you know, normally you laugh at that and say, oh, Pete, you know, you played way back in the day. Everybody, all old guys say that about the generation that they're watching now. But if you could just get that bunt down with some basic fundamentals of bunting it down the third baseline, you get that runner at third base, and that center field fly ball right there scores Gerrit Cole a run and puts the Pirates in a whole different position in this ball game. A must-win game for the Pirates.
Those little things that sometimes don't get executed, that oftentimes are not even noticed. Certainly not by you, though.
Well,
and I say that
if you didn't have a lot of talent like me, you had to be decent at fundamentals.
I say that in all seriousness also. I don't want you to think I'm making light of what you're saying, because I agree with you.
You know, those are the only kind of things that you really can control in a ball game, is your effort and the type of effort you give. I mean, how much you give and where you focus.
Bourgeois going back, still on the run. He'll reach up and make the catch to retire Snyder and put an end to the top of the fifth inning.
Guarantee the opportunity to purchase All-Star tickets by becoming a Red season ticket holder with plans starting under $9 per seat. Now's your chance to guarantee your seats for the Midsummer Classic, the Home Run Derby, Fan Fest, and more. Secure your All-Star tickets today by calling 513-765-7500 or by visiting reds.com/2015. And I'm Jim Day. Final game of the season. We continue to count down the top 9 moments of 2014, and we are at number 2, and it involves the guy on the hill today, Johnny Cueto, and his historic start to the season. Really set up today with that start. First pitcher since 1909 to go 9 straight starts of 7 or more innings and allowed 2 runs or less. Over that span, he was 4-2, 1.25 ERA, 76 strikeouts, and opponents only hit a 135 average off of it. Cueto's historic start, moment number 2 of 2014. Gentlemen,
I can't wait to hear number 1 a little bit later on, Jim Day. Thank you very much.
Hey, you never know. It might be today.
Could be. We still could have it unfolding in front of us. Johnny's given up 5 hits today. The game is tied at 1. Reds bottom third of the order coming up here in the home 5th inning at Great American Ballpark. I want to pass along a big hello today to Bob Hiltbrand, long-time Reds fan. He's 82 years old. He grew up in the area in Covington, Kentucky. Went to Holmes High School. Grew up listening and watching to the Reds since he was a little tyke. He actually was a Knothole member. Went to Knothole games, and his favorite player. Who do you think his favorite player was? He's here at the ballpark today.
He's everybody's favorite player.
The hit king, Pete Rose. Bob been married to Stella for 63 years, raised all of their kids as big Reds fans, and one of his sons, Nick, passed along the information to us, and so we want to say thank you, Bob Hiltbrand, for being such a big time Reds fan, for watching and listening all these years, and we hope we can end this 2014 season with a win for you and all Reds fans out there today. Into right for Snyder. Bourgeois is retired for the first out of the inning. The batter will be Zach Kozar.
Zach struck out his first time. These players, of course, on the Reds teams all going their separate ways after today. Most of them, if not all, will reconvene here in early December for Reds Fest, December 5th and 6th. We look forward to seeing the entire crew back then, and then in late January, the Reds caravan. Not all the players, but some of them are out and about on that. And in mid-February or so, they'll all join back together out in Goodyear, Arizona for the start of spring training 2015, with games beginning in early March. About a month after that, games beginning in the regular season. This Pirate team will be the first group in come April the 6th. Those aren't called out on strikes. Both these pitchers have the strikeout pitch going here today. That's
8 of them now for Gerrit Cole, if I've got them all counted up right, and most of them on hard pitches, either hard fastballs or hard sliders. I'll tell you what, that little lower arm angle, I mean, that's like a little lower 3/4 angle, and he dots that outside corner with a fastball in the high 90s. Forget about it.
Eight in a row and 15 now. The last 16 retired by Gerrit Cole since the Negron single in the 3rd inning into right. Cueto, as the owner of 8 hits this year, that's a career best for him. He's 8 out of 66 with his 1 strikeout today with a couple of RBIs. I'd like to thank Ray St. Clair Roofing once again this year for being the title sponsor of our pregame show all season long. The 30 minutes prior to the Reds game, you get Jeff Pecoro, you get Brian Giesenslaw, you get Jim Day, sometimes you get Chris Welsh. Today I was involved as well as I ran up from the field with the official's costume on. And Ray St. Clair Roofing, we appreciate their sponsorship again this year during the pregame show.
Now, we couldn't do without our sponsors, and Ray St. Clair Roofing has been with us for quite a while now. They are solid like a rock.
Cueto becomes strikeout victim number 9 for Gerrit Cole. There we go. Look at that swing. Didn't even hit the tee. Good job, big boy. 5 innings here at Great American Ballpark. As you can see, just a beautiful, beautiful Sunday afternoon. It's really been like this the entire homestand. The 3 against Milwaukee, and now these 3 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Fans have come out very well. You know, we should thank, really, we thank the sponsors and the like, but thank the fans that have come in, day out this year to support the Reds. A lot of them out here today, including, of course, the mascot game before the game today.
Well, I know, Jim, and maybe not everybody out there knows that, but you are the big boy mascot. I mean, that's a pretty good swing. They've got you running down the line. A big improvement over last year. Already up, I think you hit 4 miles an hour total. Last year you had 3. All that off-season training and conditioning has finally paid off. And good job there, double dipping and then coming right back up here for the pregame show.
Did you notice there at the end all the little motions that I make? I got all of that from Brandon Phillips. I thumbs up, then I touched my shoulder. That meant something, and then I went like this, you know, hands in the air. All that meant a little something. Here I go through my symbol there. Thumbs up.
Impressive.
You missed my tap on the shoulder. That has significance.
Yeah, they say sometimes dogs look like their owners. Would you say that you resemble the mascot a little bit that you represent there?
What I would say is fishes have been very, very good to me. Here's my motions now. We're going to look at it. I got the hit. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Tap on the shoulder. Oh, that one's first. Then the tap on the shoulder. This means I'm a big, strong guy, hands on hips. Tap on the shoulder means I kept that shoulder in.
Or you have a sore rotator cuff.
Or I have a sore rotator cuff. One of the two. All that I got that from Brandon.
Well, good job on that today.
That. I didn't think, I'll have to tell you, I didn't think I was going to quit sweating when I got up here before we did the little pregame hit. I was very, very hot. Surprised it all
Even if you
didn't
say so
come dripping
yourself.
onto you. Always fun, though, to strap on the big boy uniform. You know, guys got to make a living in the offseason.
Are you eating them or baking them or making them?
Making them, eating them, representing them.
Well, don't be afraid to drop a few of those big boy pies by my house around Thanksgiving time.
You know, you move so often, though, it's hard to remember where you live.
There's a reason for that. There's that changeup again, and you know, I'm not so sure that there's a pitcher in the league that gets quite as many strikeouts on the changeup as Johnny Cueto does. And you can see the circle change grip. He kind of makes an OK sign with his index finger, slides the ball in there with his middle finger and his ring finger, kind of turns it over a little bit. Great downward movement.
Six strikeouts now for Johnny Cueto, give him 241, so he's just one shy of equaling Steven Strasburg and 2 away now, becoming the first Reds pitcher since Aaron Harang 8 years ago to lead the league in strikeouts. First Reds pitcher now since 1983 to get to the 240 strikeout mark. Surpassed Bronson Arroyo, who was the last Reds pitcher to lead the league in innings pitched. Bronson at 240 2/3 innings in 06 led the league. Johnny will lead the league in innings pitched this year as well. The most innings pitched by a Reds pitcher since 1993. Jose Rio, 257 1/3. Walker 2 for 2. His home run in the 4th tied the game.
That's Johnny Cueto's version of a quick pitch right there. He's been that, you know, 99% of the time he's got a big turn. Then every once in a while he'll give you more conventional delivery. In fact, that's a slide step out of a full windup. Just trying to upset the timing of the hitter. That's one way that Johnny Cueto likes to do it. We saw Alfredo Simon yesterday throw a couple of those 60-mile-an-hour eephus pitches.
Now we should give our just due today to Derek Jeter of the New York Yankees. They're playing today at Boston, down early 4-0. Jeter started that game as the DH, had an infield hit in his first AB, lifted for a pinch runner, and so the career #2 comes to an end today at Fenway Park.
Congratulations to Derek Jeter. Very fine career. Played the game the way it ought to be played.
Ended up with 3,465 career hits, 6th most all-time, 3rd best ever in the American League. It ends at Fenway Park, but again, congratulations to Jeter on a remarkable career. Battle here between Cueto and Walker. This is pitch number 10 now. Johnny's delivered to Neil Walker. Shoots it to the alley in left center field, and it is caught by Bourgeois. Nice running catch by the left fielder. This October, history will be made as baseball's postseason moves to America's new sports network. Fox Sports 1 is your new home for baseball's National League Division and Championship Series. It all begins this coming Friday. And on the edge of the grass is Negron, and he makes this play, throwing out Starlin Castro. So the second 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon for number 47.
By authority of the Cincinnati Reds, it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, as one season ends here on the baseball diamond, another one begins on the hockey rinks, and we invite you to stay up to date with the Columbus Blue Jackets as they prepare for the season with FoxSportsOhio.com's Rick Gethin, on Twitter at Rick Gethin. We're counting down to face-off on Fox Sports Ohio. The Blue Jackets season opener comes up October the 9th at Buffalo against the Sabres. And then their home opener 2 days later against the New York Rangers on October the 11th. Blue Jackets hope to repeat, get into the playoffs for the second year in a row. Reds were in Pittsburgh early this year. The Blue Jackets are playing the Penguins in a first-round series. Give those Penguins all they could want. Reds have 3 hits in this game. Christopher Negron has 2 of them. Single to left in the first, single to right in the third. Gerrit Cole, we're not sure when he found out he was going to start this game, but it's gone well for him. He's retired 8 in a row. 15 of the last 16 he's faced.
And once he got on board, the first 2 batters of the Reds' first inning had singles.
Diving stop, Harrison spins, throws, and he got him at first.
Was that a double spin?
It was.
I'll tell you, Clint Hurdle describes Josh Harrison as a player that plays with a certain edge, and he just does. 1, 2, and coming up throwing. Wow, that's impressive.
I'm telling you, yeah, that is really something. This guy's not a natural third baseman. He's adopted that place over there like he's Brooks Robinson.
Sure looks like he's natural to me. I think he's just a ball player.
Yeah.
Guy drafted originally by the Cubs, traded a year after he was signed to a minor league contract to Pittsburgh, came up with the Pirates. Really was kind of pigeonholed as one of those utility players, a guy that really wasn't good enough to play every day, didn't think he would hit enough, but he could hit a fastball, so he'd be good off the bench. He could play several positions, always played with some hustle, determination. Having one heck of a year.
Now it's Phillips' turn. He has the other Reds hit. Single back in the first, 1 for 2. 5 hits in this series now for Brandon. He rose on point when he was talking earlier about Brandon, that they really need to get him going for 2015. From an offensive standpoint, his defense hasn't been lacking since coming back, and really the month of September, we talked about that earlier, that he's been right around the 280 mark going into this series in September.
I think one of the things that people thought at the beginning of the year, that if Brandon Phillips, even though he's getting older, can stay healthy and have a consistent place in the Reds lineup. I mean, he's been the guy over the last few years that has bounced around in more different spots in that lineup than anybody. Lead off, second, third, cleanup. I think he's been as low as 6 this year. And it helps when everybody's kind of surrounding with the same lineup up and down. He's had a couple of pitches right on the edges of the strike zone in this at bat.
2 out now. The batter will be Todd Frazier. Here's our IGS bringing the energy feature for the day right after this look at that strike 3 called. How about our Silver Slugger candidates at third base in the National League? Frazier, Harrison, Rendon, Arenado, all excellent third basemen. Nolan Arenado, the reigning Gold Glover. Well, that's a tough pick right there out of those 4.
You mean for Gold Glove or
Silver Slugger? You got Harrison, who may lead the league in hitting. You got Frazier, who has the most home runs by far of the group.
Well, if you lead the league in hitting, wouldn't that be pretty much the hands-down favorite? I mean, Josh Harrison is hitting way higher than everybody else. Doesn't have as much power. Hasn't driven in as many because he's been batting at the top of the order. But if you talk to the people in Pittsburgh, they'll tell you that they think Josh Harrison might be the MVP of the team, even though you have another MVP candidate having an MVP year in Andrew McCutchen.
And in fact, it was McCutchen who made the statement, at least one of them. He said, yeah, I think Harrison is the guy. He's the MVP of this league. So Negron grounds out. Phillips strikeout. Becomes the 10th strikeout for Gerrit Cole, equaling his season high. He fanned 10 Cubs back in April, closing in now on his career best of 12 strikeouts against the Padres late September last year.
One of the things that happens when you have a lot of strikeouts like Gerrit Cole has had today, he's got 9 of them through 5 2/3, is that you throw a lot of pitches. You look at that pitch count now, 91 for Cole now. I would imagine that they're not going to be too anxious to get to the bullpen. But still a law that you wonder how long he will be out there, given the fact that he's already up over 90.
Number 11. That's a new season high for Gerrit Cole in terms of strikeouts. He's now retired 11 in a row, 18 of the last 19 Red Legs. All-Star tickets by becoming a Reds season ticket holder with plans starting under $9 per seat. Make sure you're here for all the excitement when the All-Star Game, the Home Run Derby, the Fan Fest, and much more return to the Queen City. For more information on guaranteeing your All-Star tickets, here's how you get it. Call 513-765-7500 or visit Reds.com/2015. Johnny Cueto, 6 strikeouts, no walks in this game. He's given up 5 hits. Gerrit Cole, no walks, a new season high of 11 strikeouts for the Pirates. The Reds have but 3 hits. 1-1 game into the 7th. Gabby Sanchez, who took over at first for Ike Davis, tapped one back to the mound in the 4th. Leads it off here in number 7. Took over for Davis in the game yesterday and struck out twice. Had a home run in the 5th inning on Friday night against Mike Leake. Right into the Pirate dugout. Now Kansas City, they're leading at Chicago today 2-0 in the 3rd. Kansas City is into the postseason. As to where they will be, yet to be determined. Detroit, they are leading 1-0 over Minnesota. That game is in the 7th inning in Detroit. If the Tigers win that game, they then are American League Central Division champs. Seattle, late charge by them. They're trying to get into the American League wild card game. They're playing later on against the Angels.
They need a couple of things to happen.
Yeah.
They need to win their game, right?
Right. They need the struggling Oakland Athletics to lose their game at Texas. A bit of a mystery with Oakland making a lot of moves at the All-Star break to improve their squad. But since that time, things haven't been going overly well. In fact, in their last 45, they're 15-30.
Not a perfect science.
True. Hit hard into left center, but Bourgeois makes a running grab near his knees.
Well, Johnny Cueto's had a bunch of strikeouts today. We mentioned how he's getting them by that off-speed pitch or Mazda pitch by pitch of the strikeouts. 3 of them that he's gotten with that changeup today. Got Josh Harrison, he gets Starling Marte, and then the 6th inning he takes care of Andrew McCutcheon. All on that changeup. Very effective pitch for Cueto here in 2014.
Well, his next strikeout will tie him with Steven Strasburg of the Nationals for the most strikeouts in the National League this year. Red single season all-time leaders: Mario Soto 274, Jim Maloney up there twice. Soto one ahead right now of Johnny Cueto. He passed Noodles Hahn today. In fact, if Johnny can lead the league in strikeouts, he'll become only the 3rd Reds pitcher since 1900 to lead the league in both innings pitched and strikeouts. Noodles Hahn did it back in 01. That's 1901. Bucky Walters did it in 1939 when he was named NL MVP. Right at Phillips. And he throws out Jordy Mercer, who's 0 for 3. Or out number 2. Here's been the Cueto nemesis today now. Chris Stewart with a pair of doubles. 2 of the 5 Pirate hits. Double to center in the 2nd. Double to left in the 5th. That double in the 5th inning. Pure hustle play by Stewart. Bourgeois lost his footing, but he recovered quickly. Fair ball. Negron takes his time and makes the play. Another 1-2-3 inning by Cueto. 9 in a row by the Reds right-hander. Takes us to the stretch here at Great American Ballpark on this final day of the 2014 season. We will stay here at GABP for the stretch and the final edition this year. God bless America.
Your hats and face the American flag. Major League Baseball, the Reds and the Pirates salute the men and women of our armed forces, as well as those who serve to protect in our local police and fire departments. At this time, please help us honor these brave men and women and all our veterans of service as we welcome Smooth Transition as they lead us in the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America.
second AT&T fan photo of the game. It marks our last one of the year. There's Jim with his plethora of female friends. Nice photo there, Jim. Thanks for sending it in, and thanks for everybody for sending in your AT&T fan photos of the game for the 2014 season. And we look forward to having more of them come 2015. Of course, the hit king being recognized here at the ballpark today. Jim Day was down there talking with him earlier, and now he is recognized by the very good Sunday crowd. This final game of the year. In fact, they're now giving him a standing O. It never fails, does it?
Hey, they're applauding him even in the Pirates dugout. I mean, Devin Mesoraco was all set to get in the batter's box, and they showed Pete Rose on the scoreboard here, and he had to step out because it was just a huge round of applause, standing ovation. What do you think would happen if he decided to run for political office out of Cincinnati somewhere?
I would say that there would be a landslide.
I wouldn't want to be the other guy.
No, no, no.
No matter how good your platform was.
There's been a lot of years, of course, since he played here, and a lot of things under the bridge, but they love their Pete Rose here in Cincinnati. Of course, he's a local boy. Keeps up with this club. You heard him talk with Jim earlier. He knows the names. He knows what's going on. He knows the tendencies of this team. You don't often see that with guys once they quit playing, but Pete, baseball through and through, that's for sure. Not a play by Mesoraco. Now he's at 2 balls, 2 strikes. 11 in a row, 18 of the last 19 retired by Gerrit Cole. Twice he has fanned Mesoraco in this game. He has 11 on the year, so one more will equal his career high. He did it late in September last year against the Padres when he fanned 12. There it is, and it's looking. That's 3 in a row called third strikes from Cole. He gets Phillips and Frazier in the 6th, and now he gets Mesoraco here for number 12. 8 of them looking.
Well, that is some action on that fastball. I mean, when you throw 98, it doesn't always have much time to move, but that ball has some hair on it. Started as a ball, came back and hit the outside of the zone. He has been right on the edges all day long. You know, you just wonder with Gerrit Cole. I mean, he did miss, as you mentioned, 6 weeks of the season. With a lat strain. That was back in July, and then until about August the 20th when they reactivated him. But with only 131 innings pitched coming into this ball game, he may be a little fresher than he would normally be at this year. What you worry about with the Pirates is the number of appearances that their relievers have made this year. They've got a number of them down there that are over the 75 appearance mark, which is oftentimes at least a yellow flashing light, if not a warning flag.
Well, really, that was the same situation last year. They had used their bullpen an awful lot. Bruce is going on the first pitch, and Stewart's throw is right on the money.
Boy, that, even with a big jump by Jay Bruce, I mean, he was off. He had a good lead, it looked like. He broke at the first move that Cole made. Cole is not all that compact to the plate, but that's an excellent catch and throw. I don't know what the pop time was there for Stewart, but it had to be awfully impressive.
Just taking a look, the Pirates last year had a 2.89 ERA out of their bullpen come the end of the season. They go into this game with a 3.17, but in the second half of the year, that pen has done great work. A 2.68 in the second half. Handled right near first base there by Gabby Sanchez, and so thanks to the caught stealing, 3 batters and out go the Reds in the 7th. On this chopper off the bat of Frazier, nice play, one of the many turned in by Josh Harrison this afternoon. Reds take an early 1-0 lead. That was until this ball hit in the 4th inning by Neil Walker, his 23rd of the year. right by the bow tie bar out there in right, tied the game at 1. Then a big pitchers matchup today. Gerrit Cole has tied his career high with a dozen strikeouts, 8 of them looking in this game. Johnny Cueto, he's simply been Johnny Cueto as he's been most of the year. He's recorded 6 strikeouts, given up but the 1 run, and that was the solo homer. That's today's Honda game summary. Meanwhile, Gerrit Cole will not get an opportunity for a new career high in strikeouts. He is out of the game. Andrew Lambeau pinch hits for him here in the top of the 8th. Gerrit Cole goes 7 innings. Allows 1 run, 4 hits with a dozen strikeouts. Did not walk a batter. So he ends the regular season with 3 straight outings of 7 innings. Lambeau bats for him here to try to get it going for the Pirates in the 8th. Hitting .263 in 20 games this year here with 1 run batted in. Called up right at the end of August from AAA Indianapolis. Lambeau had a very good year down there. .328 average, 11 homers, 42 RBIs in 61 games. And he's a strikeout victim. That's number 7 for Johnny Cueto, and that now ties him for the league lead with Steven Strasburg.
Well, he reaches back for a second gear, 94, so much so we're going to make it our flamethrower, brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce. We thank Cholula for their sponsorship this year of our flamethrower strikeout of the day.
Top of the order now, and Josh Harrison. Trying to end this season with a 16-game hitting streak is Harrison. He's grounded out, struck out, flied out today. Trying to become the first Pirate to win a batting title since Freddie Sanchez did it back in '06 when he hit .344. Hits this one hard but out. 11 in a row now retired by Johnny Cueto, who's due up 3rd in the bottom of the 8th. Batter will be Travis Snyder. We were talking earlier about the year of the pitcher, how that has gone in terms of offense this year. The last time the National League batting title was won with an average below .330, and it'll happen this year, 1991, when Terry Pendleton won the league batting title when he was with the Braves at .319. Closing in on 25 years since that's been done. Toward right center field. That'll get down. That is a hit. It splits the outfielders. It'll go to the wall for Travis Snyder, who gets his first hit of the game. 3 doubles now by the Pirates in this one. A 2-out chance for Andrew McCutchen.
You know, you really never know what you miss until you get a guy not be able to play. And Billy Hamilton cuts balls off probably better than anybody that I've seen in the National League this year. And we've seen 2 balls that found the gap here all the way to the wall that probably would not have had Hamilton been out there. Not to take anything away from Chris Heisey. I mean, he's doing the best he can. But real great defense has been a hallmark of this ball club, and Hamilton's been a big part of it. So now you've got a base open with the MVP candidate McCutchen at the plate. But you've got a guy in a left-hander on deck, and Neil Walker that hit a home run off it. You come right after McCutchen here? Probably so. And what we've seen in the past, when this year, when Johnny Cueto gets in trouble, he doesn't mess around with all the off-speed stuff and try to fool you. He rears back and pretty much gives you Powder River. 4-seam fastballs up.
Hitting. McCutchen hit by a pitch. 15th batter hit this year by Johnny Cueto. McCutchen not happy about it.
Well, they're sensitive there in Pittsburgh because they've had some bench clearing incidents, and McCutchen has had plenty of those bouncing off the back of his numbers this year.
Well, most notably against the Arizona Diamondbacks. which forced McCutcheon on the disabled list for a short stint, and in that same game ended the season of Paul Goldschmidt.
But to be fair about it, you have to mention that the Pittsburgh Pirates lead the league in hit batters by 20 over the next closest team, which is the Reds. So the Pirates have pitched inside at an unprecedented rate this year, and of course hitting batters is just part of that. I'm not so sure Cueto did that on purpose. I very much doubt it, but he wasn't going to miss over the plate. And a whole lot less damage happens to the pitcher when you miss inside than missing over the plate.
So now it's Neil Walker. Today, 2 out of 3. Nice running catch in left field as last time by Bourgeois. Took a hit away. His home run in the 4th, the only Pirate run. .278 average this year for Walker with runners in scoring position. Polanco's the pinch runner. He's out at second base. He ran for Snyder after he got the double. McCutcheon via the hit batsman is on at first. Now it's Walker. Jumbo Diaz throwing in the Reds bullpen. In a shutout innings worth of work yesterday. Lifetime Cueto's been able to handle Walker pretty well, under 200 average in 46 at bats. But the 2 home run balls, including one of those today. Over the 100 pitch mark, Cueto at 105. 8th inning, 1-1 game. Season finale here at Great American Ballpark. Borderline strike, 2-1.
Another way of calling a borderline strike is a pitcher's pitch.
There's been an enthusiastic crowd here today into this season finale. Frazier to Cueto. Inning over. Works around the 2-out double and the hit batsman. Makes it 7-0 of the game. The Reds come up in the bottom of the 8th in a 1-1 game. Sports Ohio will bring you the final post-game show of the year, presented by Performance Kings Honda, as it's been all year. Hopefully we'll be talking about a Reds victory. And a great job by Johnny Cueto. Here's the last out of the top of the 8th inning. He gets the ground ball. Frazier to Cueto. Johnny all pumped up, as is this big crowd today of over 34,000. They give him a standing O as he leaves the field. Could very well be done for the game. His spot due up third.
Well, wait a minute now. Do you think if the Reds make their first 2 outs in this inning that they're not going to bat Johnny Cueto third?
We'll see. 8 innings of 1-run, 6-hit baseball with 7 strikeouts. Just another solid performance by Cueto, as always against the Pirates. Meanwhile, new pitcher on for Pittsburgh is Tony Watson.
78 games now for Tony Watson. He's got just about as many innings pitched as he does appearances. Having a great year. 1.4 in run average. Look at the strikeouts, the bases on balls. I mean, a left-hander that throws this hard and around the plate, they're hard to find.
Bourgeois trying to get it started. Watson threw an inning in yesterday's game. A 1-2-3 ninth. One of the 7 pitchers they used. The game had ultimately won by the Reds at 10-6. Lined into the alley in left center. A hit for Bourgeois. McCutcheon cuts it off with a slide, but Bourgeois is going to get himself a double. He's headed to third. Is he in there? He is. What a play by Jason Bourgeois. He never slowed down around second base.
Well, he never slowed down one bit. And Josh Harrison, I think, is convinced that either he hurt his hand or he is convinced that they got him at third base out. We'll take another look at it. A shot into the gap. McCutcheon comes over, slides to try to cut the ball off, which he does, but it bounces out of his glove. And that gives Bourgeois a chance to stretch it into 3.
Never breaks stride around second.
Tell you what, that's good hard baseball right there. One runner as fast as he can. Josh Harrison not giving an inch. And they're not going to even ask for a replay as that ball, or that play is going to be safe at third with a leadoff triple. Now, if you're Brian Price, what do? There's no guarantee the Reds are going to get this run in from third with nobody out. The Pirates have decisions to make. Do they pitch to Cozart, or do you just load the bases right here? And they've got Santiago in the on-deck circle now, but that could be a decoy.
Cueto had his helmet on. You could see that on the last shot. Then he took it off. Santiago came out. Infield in. 1-1 game, last of the 8th.
Well, this is what Pete Rose was talking about earlier, wasn't it? Make an adjustment at the plate. Get rid of the long swing. Know what you have to do, which is all you need is a ball into the outfield. And by the way, the Pirates outfield playing way too deep right here.
Caught by Harrison at third on a dive to his left. Taking it from left field. Harrison took it away. That's 1 out.
Tried to get it in there. Hit fairly sharply, but there's Harrison again. That Harrison guy is everywhere.
Well, Santiago was in the on-deck circle. He walks back down the dugout steps, and up the steps comes Cueto. He gets a standing ovation. Johnny today has struck out twice. Infield still in. Polanco is playing in right now, is starting to move in. McCutcheon and Marte still pretty deep.
How fitting would it be, though, for Johnny Cueto to drive in his own winning run?
Expecting a potential squeeze there. The Pirates pitch out.
Not a bad idea. And they may do it again.
Is this to you a last game of the season move? I mean, you wouldn't see this.
No, this is an attempt to try to keep Johnny in the game in case the Reds don't score. He needs to get his number 20.
Negron, who's had 3 good at-bats in this game, is on deck.
How about a 2-strike squeeze?
Little safety squeeze right here?
Not a safety squeeze, just a 2-strike squeeze. You foul it off, it's a strikeout, guy goes back to third. I mean, I doubt that you see a pitch out on that. That's why I'm saying that would be an ideal time to do it, and that was a buttable pitch. Or you put it on right here. I mean, the worst that could happen is you pop it up and you butt into a double play. And you send Cueto back out there one more time.
Stays alive. Leadoff triple by Bourgeois. Cozart, an attempt to get that run home, lined one to the left of Harrison at third, who caught it. Cueto now. Negron next. Everyone on both dugouts up near the railing. Ball 3. If you're watching here, you don't want to get fancy at all. You simply need another strike. Up the middle and a base hit for Cueto. Johnny Cueto drives in the go-ahead run with a single in the center field. Can you believe that? Chris Stewart is down behind home plate. The fans on their feet. Cueto drives in the run, which gives the Reds a 2-1 lead.
Well, the base hit, the reaction of the Reds dugout. Johnny drives in his own run, and with Stewart down behind the plate, watch a follow-through by Cueto all the way around, and he knocked the glove right off the hand of Chris Stewart with that follow-through. And Stewart is down behind home plate. That would be very unfortunate if he is injured to the point he has to come out of this ball game.
Of course, the Pirates catching core already hurting with the left hamstring injury of Russell Martin. So much so that he left the game on Friday, didn't play yesterday. There's Johnny Cueto coming in and giving a pat on the back there to Chris Stewart. Take a look at it again here. Boy, it got him right on the wrist area there, didn't it?
Yeah.
Cueto walking over to the dugout talking with Brian Price. Now he's going down into the stairwell. Norman Rodriguez will come out and run for him. Could you script that any better, though, Hollywood style?
Absolutely not. First, as you mentioned, Jim, it was unheard of to see that situation anyway. Your starting pitcher coming up there in the 8th inning with the go-ahead run. I mean, you've got to roll the clock back about 40 years before you see a play in baseball like that, if it didn't have the extenuating circumstance of being the last game of the year, being Johnny Cueto's last chance to get a 20 win in this season.
Right.
And he was able to deliver with a base hit up the middle and drive in a run to give him a 2-1 lead. Wow.
Chris Stewart on his feet, talking with the home plate umpire Marvin Hudson. His manager is there as well, Clint Hurdle. He's going to see if he can catch the ball. They do, of course, have a third catcher in Tony Sanchez. That is, in fact, Sanchez now, who has come on. Stewart has left the game. Sanchez behind the plate. Boy, Clint Hurdle can barely walk.
He's got a bad hip. I guess he's due for some hip replacement surgery, and that's going to have to wait until the postseason plans for the Pirates are done.
Tony Watson will leave the game. The Pirates will bring on a new pitcher. This is our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. 15 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. You can guarantee the opportunity to purchase those All-Star tickets by becoming a Red season ticket holder with plans starting under $9 a seat. Your chance to guarantee those seats for the Midsummer Classic, the Home Run Derby, Fan Fest, and much more. Securing your All-Star tickets can be done by calling 513-765-7500 or visit Reds.com/2015. One lefty replaces another. Justin Wilson on to replace Tony Watson. With Negron at the plate, pitch runner at first is Yorman Rodriguez replacing Cueto, who is in line to be a 20-game winner. If the Reds can hold on to this lead in the top of the 9th, hopefully add to it here. 1 run, 6 hits in 8 innings for Cueto with no walks, 7 strikeouts. He leaves the game as the league's leader in innings pitched and tied for the strikeout lead, which is where he will end with Steven Strasburg of Washington. There's a blast by Negron, way up into the seats. Off the facing of the second deck, a 2-run homer for Christopher Negron as he sprints around the bases. and Negron going out in fine style.
He wastes no time jumping all over this pitch. Belt high over the center of the plate. He's already hit the ball hard 3 times today. And that time going yard, and everybody in that dugout's got a big smile, especially number 47.
A 3-run eighth, a 4-1 Cincinnati lead. Chapman throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. Phillips at the plate now. Home run number 6 for Negron. 17 runs batted in now for him this year. But the big hit, the Johnny Cueto single, which broke the 1-1 tie. What a way to close out the season for the Washington Nationals, a team that has the best record in the National League today. Jordan Zimmerman throws a no-hitter at home against the Miami Marlins on the final day of this 2014 season. His mound opponent today, Henderson Alvarez of Miami, who threw a no-hitter in the final game of the season last year for Miami. How about that?
And a 1-0 no-hitter.
And a 1-0 no-hitter. Congratulations to Jordan Zimmerman. Two out now for Todd Frazier. Things go true to form here. Cueto will join Kershaw and Wainwright as 20-game winners in the National League this year. Clayton Kershaw at 21, Adam Wainwright 20. Wainwright scheduled to go later on today, but again, we mentioned that if the Reds win this game over the Pirates, Kershaw may not go 5 innings to qualify for a win in that game, simply to get his work in and get himself ready to be the starter in Game 1 of the National League Division Series against the Dodgers.
I'll tell you what today they're doing. They are dancing in the streets of La Romana, Dominican Republic, celebrating for Johnny Cueto. Man, what a day, culminating with that base hit.
For to Frazier. That is the first walk issued today on either side of the ledger. That was the Pirates last year at the end of the regular season, also played here. They swept that 3-game series, knocking the Reds out of the opportunity to host the wild card game a year ago. The Reds can hold on here and win this one. It would be the Reds knocking the Pirates out of the opportunity to potentially play for the National League Central Division title tomorrow afternoon in St. Louis. They need still some help, but the part of the way it had to go down was a Pirate win today. Pitcher of record for the Pirates in this game right now is Tony Watson. 10-1 on the year. His only loss came here on the 11th of July, right before the All-Star break against the Reds. Of course, Cueto trying to become the first Reds right-hander. Sammy Ellis and Jim Maloney both 120 back in '65. Danny Jackson 123 in 1988. The last Reds pitcher to do it. Bourgeois with an all-out hustle got himself a triple on that headlong slide in the third, just ahead of the tag by Harrison. Had to stay put when Cozart lined out Harrison, diving to his left to take a hit away. Cueto battling and bouncing one up the middle against the drawn-in infield to give the Reds the 2-1 lead. Norman Rodriguez came in to run for him, and after the pitching change, Christopher Negron bombed one. His 6th of the year off the facing of the second deck and left, making a 4-1 Reds lead. The Reds trying to end this final series and homestand of 2014 with 2 out of 3 against Milwaukee and 2 out of 3 against the Pirates. Did it hit him, or was it a foul ball? It is a hit batsman. There's a Rocco hit by a pitch. Got him on the knuckles, it looked like, on the left hand. Boy, that guy has had foul balls all over him this year. He has had a tough year physically, hasn't he?
Would be a normal day out here if he didn't pick up at least one bruise.
Now Pirates pitching coach Ray Searage out of the dugout. We close things out here in the month of September, but baseball, of course, overall not finished. October, history will be made as baseball's postseason moves to America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1. Your new home for baseball's National League Division Series and Championship Series. All begins this Friday. Wild card winner of the National League will take on the Nationals. Winner of the National League Central, if the things stay the way they are here, will be the Cardinals. They would take on the Dodgers. It would begin in LA. Those games begin on Friday, those series. Base hit into right by Brewster. No, they're playing him into a shift, and he hits it hard, but right at Walker, who's about 10 steps deep onto the outfield grass, and he makes the play to retire Bruce and end the inning. Aroldis Chapman, owner of 35 saves.
Cueto, and we have been counting down the top 9 moments of 2014, and in at number 1 is that guy right there. He made his 2014 debut. Now, why was that significant? Because he took one of the worst balls straight off the face in spring training after surgery, a plate and screws in his head. He came back way before anyone thought, and on May 11th he made it all the way back. Your top moment of 2014, at least for now, because Chapman is 3 outs away from making his own moment 1A, and moment number 1 would be Johnny Cueto with win number 20. Let's see if we get it.
I tell you what, for the 162nd game of the year, this has had a lot of excitement in it. That's for sure.
We told people this would be a great game to come to. No Bengals football this afternoon. Cueto going for number 20. Pirates going, trying to keep their postseason bid going in the right direction. And the interesting thing is, Jim, is that at the beginning of the series, Brian Price was quoted as saying that in all likelihood the season was over for Devin Mesoraco. It was over also for Aroldis Chapman. Yet we've seen both of those players not only yesterday but in today's game as well. So Chapman going to try to pick one up for his buddy Johnny Cueto, and he is 3 outs away from nailing down number 20 for his buddy Johnny.
Chapman picked up his 35th save on Thursday afternoon here against the Brewers. Saved that one for David Holmberg. Pitched in yesterday's game, 1 inning after, remember, had some issues in that game on Thursday. It didn't quite get loose. Felt some tightness in his shoulder, but he's back out there for the 2nd day in a row, and he gets Starling Marte to get things going here in the 9th. Into center field, and that's going to drop for a hit. Chapman on the year, 2.04 ERA, 103 strikeouts, 53 innings, 118 average against him. Marte is actually one of those that's handled it pretty well. That's 3 hits now in 8 career at bats for Marte against Chapman. That's Gabby Sanchez. Chapman comes into this game with 24 straight scoreless innings here at Great American Ballpark, the longest ever by a Reds pitcher. Pirates now have 7 hits, as do the Reds. Got the breaking ball in there that time.
When he gets that slider over, it's almost unfair.
Gets the strikeout. A third of the way home for Aroldis Chapman.
Looking fastball, never getting it right there, and a breaking ball on the outside corner, and another strikeout. Boy, the strikeouts have been coming in bunches today. You don't have much of a chance he'd make contact with him up there.
Here's Jordy Mercer. He's 0 for 3 today. Choking up on that bat. Chapman has not allowed a run in September. He's only been scored upon 1 time since July 26th. Runner on the move from first, no throw. One ball, 1 strike count on Mercer. Credit Marte with a steal there, so that'll be his 30th of the year. Reds up 4-1, 9th inning. Trying to close out the season with a win. Takes away, of course, the double play ball. Boy, there's a nice off-speed pitch there. Tony Sanchez waits on deck for Pittsburgh. Reds go on to win this game. Pittsburgh will fly back home. Take on the Giants on Wednesday. Actually on Wednesday in the National League wild card game. And in that game, that would feature, from what we are led to believe, Edinson Volquez against Madison Bumgarner. Pirates have done pretty well against lefties this year, including a win over Bumgarner earlier this season. Squirts away, and the run is going to go to third. They're not so concerned about Marte as they are just getting outs at the plate. ground pitch on Chapman that allows the runner to go to third. Got it.
100 miles an hour on the black.
Chapman comes on, gives up the base hit. Now he's struck out 2 in a row. How about that number there? That is mind-boggling. 105 of the 201 batters he has faced this year is struck out.
That is like a top-round draft pick what he does in high school. Not against the best hitters in the world.
This is what they've been waiting for, the 27th out for Johnny Cueto. He's an out away from becoming a 20-game winner for the first time in his career. Tony Sanchez bats for the first time today and in this series. 270 hitter with a couple of home runs. Quickly down 2 strikes. 34,424 on their feet for what they hope will be the final pitch of the 2014 season. Chapman to Tony Sanchez with a runner at third, 2 out. 4-1 Reds, 9th inning. Reds draw this year with this crowd today 2,476,664. 6th best ever in franchise history. Out of play. Reds win. Johnny Cueto, a 20-game winner for the first time in his career. This is 7th year in the big leagues. The first Reds 20-game winner since Danny Jackson in 1988. First right-handed 20-game winner since Sammy Ellis and Jim Maloney back in 1965. And the Reds close out the 2014 season with back-to-back wins. They end things at 76 and 86. That smile says it all, doesn't it?
Well, a very special day for a very special Reds player. He has worked so hard and against the odds with very little run support. He drives in the winning run himself and nails down number 20.
We certainly hope, of course, that this season was going to go on, but it will end here for the Reds in 2014. The Pirates, they will pack their bags and back to Pittsburgh, where they will play in the National League wild card game on Wednesday night at home against the San Francisco Giants. Look at the love of Johnny Cueto by his teammates as he walks toward the dugout. Jeff Piecoro, our Jeff Piecoro down there hoping to get Tomas Vera as the interpreter with the 20-game winner. Boy, it's just a very, very special day here today to close things out. Jeff Pico, Jay Bell, Steve Smith, the whole coaching staff. There's Lee Tinsley, the assistant hitting coach. Freddie Benavides, all giving Johnny Cueto the glad hand. Don Long, the hitting coach. Johnny walks over with Tomas Vera and Jeff Piecoro.
Well, thank you very much, guys. I'm joined now by Tomas Vera, one of the athletic trainers for the Reds, and Johnny Cueto, Johnny, 20 wins. How happy are you, and what does this accomplishment mean to you?
Johnny, ¿qué tan feliz estás y qué significa esto para ti, estas 20 ganadas?
Bueno, yo me siento muy bien. Primeramente le doy gracias a Dios. Me siento bien por el equipo apoyarme y yo gané esos juegos.
Well, first of all, I feel really well. I want to thank God for this, and also I want to thank my team for backing me up and doing what they did for me today.
Josh Harrison played an unbelievable third base, and he takes the hit away that would have won the game. Brian Pena, the Reds catcher. That's got to feel good for the big night that Johnny just had. But Josh Harrison played an unbelievable third base. You were going to be taken down had he got that hit. You went up to bat and got the base hit, the winning RBI in the game. What was that like, and could you have gone on to pitch 10 or 12 innings, whatever it took today?
Josh Harrison, mira, jugó un buen tercera base hoy y quitó el hit que pudo haber sido la ventaja para el equipo. Viniste tú, bateaste, hiciste un gran turno y conseguiste para irnos arriba. ¿Qué pensaste en ese momento?
Bueno, yo pensé, Manny ya habló conmigo, me dijo, Cueto, ¿qué tú quieres hacer? ¿Va a batear para volver para el noveno? Y yo le dije, bueno, sí, yo quiero batear. Y me dio la confianza, gracias por darme la confianza, y vine yo a dar el hit.
Well, Bryce talked to me and he told me, hey, if you come to the 9th inning, you're going to hit. They said, yes, please, I want to hit. I want to come back. I'm ready to pitch on the 9th inning. And I thank him for letting me do it. He did it, and I thank for him giving the confidence to me to do this.
Biggest at bat of your career?
¿Tú crees que es el turno al bate más grande de tu carrera?
Bueno, es el turno más grande que yo he tenido, que vengo y doy hit, porque tenía casi 2 semanas que no bateaba.
Yes, you're right. It's the biggest at bat that I have. I mean, if you see it, it's almost about 2 weeks ago I haven't had one hit.
2 more questions. One, you're also going to end up leading the league in innings pitched, as well as winning 20 games. Those are milestones. Are those something that you wanted to do when the season started?
Otra pregunta también, estás liderando la liga con innings lanzados y también estás liderando la liga con los 20 ganados. ¿Qué piensas?
Bueno, yo pienso que bastante trabajé para mantenerme todo el tiempo arriba, pero gracias a Dios que tuve el chance y siempre adelante.
Well, I think I work hard for this. I always work hard and I keep myself up, and I thank you for having the chance to do this. I put myself to doing this.
And what about these fans? Unbelievable today, huh?
¿Y qué te parecen los fanáticos hoy?
Bueno, los fanáticos, gracias por venir a verme el juego, el número 20, y le doy gracias que sigan viniendo.
Well, I thank the fans to come here and see me winning the number 20, and I thank them for coming, and I hope they keep coming to watch the games.
Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure all season. Thank you very much, Tomas.
Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny. So Johnny Cueto wins number 20, guys, and the biggest at bat of his career. He drives in the winning run. Back upstairs, Jim.
All right, thank you, Pick. Great job down there with Tomas Vera and with the 20-game winner, Johnny Cueto. Johnny, of course, had the big hit, as they talked about. That is our John Merrill hot dog play of the game in the bottom of the 8th inning. There it is, by the pitcher, up the middle. Cueto very happy. Bourgeois, with the triple, scores what turned out to be the winning run. His teammates showing a lot of love for number 47. He had the big smile on his face as he got over to first base. Reds take a 2-1 lead. That is our John Merrill hot dog play of the game. Reds win it 4-1. As we go to break, take another look at the ice bucket dumped on the head of Johnny Cueto.